Hi guys, so today I'm going to try out some of the items that are in the Diamond Press Ultimate Card Making Collection today, special for HSN. So these items were sent free of charge from my review, and of course all paintings of my own. And I'll have the links in the description box that is now available. I know a lot of the storage boxes were just flying and selling out, and I'll have the links there in the description box. Those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links. So what you see in front of you right now is all the good stuff. So I've gone through, I did a preview and I opened up the box, assembled it and showed you everything that was in there, and with the pouches and the dividers and the labels, or like label strips. So this is the meat and potatoes, the stuff that we're going to play with and try out today. So again, I'll just go over everything kind of quickly because we already did the unboxing, and then I went through the storage box part of it already also. There's another separate video. I'll link both of those. So the Today Special will come with the storage box with the pouches like we discussed, and then there are 3 that come with a marquee, 3 selections because the box is a different color. So the gold marquee, the rose gold, and the teal marquee. Or you can also get the box by itself if you already have a marquee. And then there are auto ships on all those, so you can select auto ship or not. And of course, the auto ship is awesome if you've seen the previews for it, and hopefully now you've seen it. It's like I said, the Taste Special has already launched, and hopefully you get the color you like and all that. So jump right on there. I am picking up the box with the auto ship. I already have 2 marquees. I have a gold one and a coral one, and so I'm really, I just use them and I love them. So use them daily, several times a day. So I'm going to get the box so I can get the auto ship. But let's go through. So again, it'll come with an instruction sheet. The instructions are, just to let you know basically how to use stamps, how to use the die cutting. Super easy. They have a folder system in the marquee, so you just put your paper or the die in the folder and run it through, but we'll go over all of that. The stencil, it's a really nice size stencil. Like I said, it's a larger stencil. I measured it in the first video, but as you can see, it's long enough to do a slim line, like the 8.5 inches in length, the 5x7 A2. They all will fit in that dimension of the stencils. And then it has inks and ink daubers with the different heads. And I did have a question. Hopefully I'll remember to answer that when I get there, some tips and tricks. Somebody had asked if you can store the dauber heads under the ink, and I didn't try that out because that wasn't something I even thought of, so we will see. But again, how to assemble the box, and then some inspo on the back here. This is like a shaped card and layering up different things. You have your slim lines, maybe A2s, 5x7s. And okay, so we have our inks here. Again, you have the 8 inks, the wooden handled dauber, which is really nice, and then these guys just pop on here. So I think when the gal was asking about that is because she might want to put like, let me open this up. Oh, I don't want to make a loud noise, so let me try to poke this without making too much noise there. Since this is the little like loop part of it, that hard loop part of it, and this is the soft part, maybe she wants to put like a loop part in here, like a little circle. You can get those at the Dollar Tree. And I mean, I don't know. It looks like it goes in there. I can see a little bit hanging out. I'm not sure exactly what she was thinking, but there you go. Sure. And then look at that lemon yellow. So pretty. So, and then you have individual heads for each color. Again, yellow, purple, red, blue, pink, like a teal, green, and a light pink. Definitely use those today. I'm going to try to use a little bit of everything so you have an idea. The stencils, again, that graduated dot. Like I said, I already did an unboxing, so I'll go through it kind of quickly. The coffee, these stars are all kind of different sizes, really nice. We have the kind of floral sprigs, and oh, they're like little vines. If you wanted to like isolate 1 or 2, you could do that. Put some tape. You can see it's a nice little vine. This geometric pattern, this beautiful daisy kind of floral, well, it is floral, daisy pattern. Sunburst classic, love it. Oh, love that. And you can manipulate this, depending on what size card you're using. A2, maybe you're going to put your paper down here so the sunburst is toward the top, right down the center, however it is that you want to do that. And then this plaid. Really awesome. It comes with the, the two cutting folders, the elongated and two regular size. Again, this is what you use in the marquee. If you don't have a marquee, you don't have to have a marquee. The thin metal dies and the stamps and the stencils, of course, you can use with any system. The thin metal dies will go through any machine that cuts thin metal dies. And I get this question several times a day, and I even had somebody say, oh, I had never picked up the diamond press things. I thought I had to have a certain machine. So now she's buying those, whenever I had mentioned. So yeah, that's any machine that cuts thin metal dies, and that's the same if you have other thin metal dies you want to put in the marquee. They fit in this, these dimensions. Great, they'll definitely cut. So again, I went through these in more depth in the preview unboxing, so like I said, I'll have it linked there. Doilies, oh my gosh, you guys, I mean, just look at all this. I mean, so much variability you can do with the metal dies that are in between here. Again, you can make it into a frame. If you run these two together through your paper, you have a frame. If you just use this one, you have a mat. And I'll show you what I mean by that in case you're new to crafting. And then we have the stamps, of course. So many stamps, and I went through pretty much every single stamp in the preview video, so I will just get to it today. But we are going to, yeah, just get started. So what I'm going to do is kind of think about what it is that I'm heading for, and we'll go for it. Okay guys, so I'm going to make a slimline card. You probably already saw in the intro, of course. I have the stamps that I'm going to use. I'm going to use both of these, a couple of stencils. I'm going to make a card base right quick, but you can always make a shape card base, which is always really fun. I'll follow up with something similar or something like that in the next video. So for right now, I just have some white cardstock that I'm going to stencil and stamp on. I have some green cardstock that I'm going to stencil and cut out. We're going to die cut both of these, but not quite yet, so I'm going to put this to the side. And I'm just going to make a standard, what I consider a standard slimline card base. This is 8.5 by 11 paper, and we're just going to cut it down. So leave it on the 8.5-inch side, leave that alone, but we're going to cut on the other side at 7 inches. And then we're going to score it at 3.5, okay? And that's just my card base, simply done. And then we're just going to score it, like I said, at 3.5. And, oh, oopsie, let's say nope. There we go. And so we're going to go ahead and stencil next. I'm just going to grab something to stencil on. If you like to use pixie spray or like a stenciling mat or something where it has the magnets, I'm going to use a paper pad. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so we have our card base. Before I stencil on the white paper, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. So, I need this paper. And I'm going to use this big, bold friend sentiment here, and I'm going to heat emboss this. So I'm just going to grab my little pouch that keeps it from being staticky. I'll be right back. So this is just an extra step you definitely don't have to do, but it helps out. And then I'm just going to place this over here and stamp the word friend somewhere in the center. It's not a big deal. I'm going to cut this out later. So this is like 8.5 by like almost 4 inches, just because I'm going to stencil on it and stamp, and then I'll cut it out with the die. So I'm just kind of aiming for the center, and then I'll eyeball where I'm going to trim it later. If you want to cut it first and then stamp and then do all those things, go for it. I'm just going to place it kind of what I would consider the center there. This is a very large stamp, so I may have to stamp it a couple times, trying to make sure I don't have air bubbles on the back of it. And I'm going to ink it up with some VersaFine ink. That's what I prefer to use on sentiments. And then for heat embossing, I believe the inks that are in the kit are water-based dye inks. They perform a little differently than like a pigment ink or something like that. So I'm just doing this. And I'll stamp that really nicely. Wow, that's pretty great, actually. I'm going to go ahead and do it one more time just to get the areas where it's a little bit light. So you're good at heat embossing. And I'm just going to use clear embossing powder since the ink is black already. It'll just show through with that black. Okay, right, I need to get that in. There we go. Okay, and I misplaced my little coffee filter that I usually use when I do embossing, so I'm going to take just like a scrap of paper here, just so I can pour it on here when I'm done. Have my clear embossing powder, and that's quite a bit, so I'll just kind of toss it down this way. Give it a little bit of a tap. I don't want to tap it too hard because I don't want to get rid of what's on the ink. I do like a nice thick embossing. And you can always pour more on it of the embossing powder while it's still hot. Make it thicker if you would like. Like right there, I just removed some that I didn't want to remove. There we go. Okay, I'm going to hit this with my heat tool. I'll just show you what that looks like real quick, but I'll clean this up. I use this to pour it back into the jar. And just as soon as it turns kind of like shiny clear, I move on. So I'll show you what that looks like. Sorry for the noise, but there it is. Okay. And I'll do that for the whole. So we have that. Just kind of dusting off the rest of the little embossing powder that just ends up on the edges there, but got that going. And what I was saying before, as far as, you know, you can put something that's slick, like a slick surface behind, you can use paper, you can put whatever it is. In the instructions, they do give you some information as far as using stencils, so you have that to refer back to if you'd like to use it in the way that they're describing. I believe what they're describing here is if you have your stencil and then you put your piece of, you know, whatever it is that you're going to stencil on, and then you put a larger piece behind it of paper. So when you flip it back, you know, put a large piece behind it, flip it back over, everything's secure it down, and then do your stenciling. This is a much larger piece of paper, but this is what I'll be using today. And then go from there as far as, you know, daubering and then cleaning it up. So you have your info there. I'm probably going to start actually to make this more clear here. Sorry about this. It's kind of crooked there. I'm just going to place this down, and I have this piece, you know, you can use it on either side, your stencil. Clearly the name's on top here, so I would use it this way. Now, I made my piece of paper just a little bit bigger, you know, so I know I could tape this down. When I use my die, it's going to cut a little bit smaller than what I have here. So I am going to put mine down with some washi. You can tape it down all at once, you know, all together like this, so that this is being held down, and your paper at the bottom. Put a little something behind your paper if you would like, however you want to hold that down. I'm going to put the tiniest amount of washi there, and here, and then on this, you know, it's super organic. I don't really mind wherever it's going to be, but I'm just going to place that there, and place it here. Now, if you're using the stencil for like glimmer paste or any kind of paste, you do want to make sure this is really well, you know, I would put washi right up here too and right here, just so it stays down real well, or pixie spray, whatever it is that you would like to keep it really well down. Since I'm just using ink, it's not really going to seep underneath. So I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to use green. So I'm going to do green on green, and on the other one I'm going to use several different colors. I'm just going to pop this open. And I'm going to leave the center kind of faded out because the center is going to be covered up anyway. So I'm going to take the little dauber piece here and my green. Just dauber into that. Ooh, that is saturated. Look how much got on there so quick. So, yeah, really great. Okay, so I'm going to take this down in here. And you can see I'm kind of going across. It depends on the stencil design, what you might want to do. If something is more delicate or has like little areas that might, you know, you might pick up as you're going, you might do a pouncing motion. Right now, I mean, this is pretty self-contained here, so I'm just doing like a circling motion. I do want you to notice, because we're going to die cut into this, if you want to die cut first and then stencil, you know, clearly that's up to you. Oh, I have a little piece of, hey, sorry, I saw I had a little piece of plastic here that I need to get rid of. Okay. And it gives like a hard edge, which looks really nice. So if you die cut it first and then stencil over it, you're going to get that nice little hard edge going if you would like that. For now, I'm just kind of doing this. And, oh, it looks great. I know this middle part's going to be covered up, so that's why I'm not spending time coloring that in. But I also like the way it just kind of doesn't color that part, which we're going to do on our friend topper. I'm going to go just wipe this down. It's just, you know, like I said, dye ink, water-based, so it's very easy to rinse it off, wipe it off. Okay. I'll be right back. Rinse it off, good as new. And then I'm going to take this and we're going to cut into this in just a minute, so I'm going to put that to the side. I don't know that I'm going to use the green again right now, so I'm just going to put that back and then put a little color in with it. Let me choose the colors I want to use, but we are going to do this basically the same way, so I'm just going to reuse my washi. So pretty. And I'm just going to pop this over the top. And tape that down. I'm going to make some color selections here, and I'll be right back. Okay, if you've watched me for any amount of time, I think you knew I was already going to get purples and pinks. So here we go. What I'm going to do is just a little bit of inking going from this way, that way, and maybe start with the purple into the darker pink and then into the lighter kind of blush pink. So I'll just pop this on. Again, I'm not going to press as hard as I did the first time because I got a lot of color on that green. So just like that. And, you know, I'm going to put a little more tape on this one since my paper's a little bit smaller. Oopsie. Okay, and I always hold it with my hand too, so there's a couple things. So I'm going to start in here. Again, not super concerned because I am going to put my die right in here. But what I want is to not really color all this whole area with the word, so I'm going to leave like a little bit of a kind of white area. So that's probably enough purple so I can get that pink in. And I can come back to it if I think I need to add more. Or deeper pink. Ooh, that's so pretty. Again, I kind of start off the edge because that helps you kind of get the color blending before you even get it to your paper. Helps you control the color also. And I'm going into the purple area a little bit too, just to kind of get that going. Okay, and then into the light. It's kind of like a peachy color. Get quite a bit of that one since it's very light and sweet. Now I'm going to take a little peek, and I think that's what I wanted to do. Let me see. Looking good. Okay. So again, I'll remove this. I'll go rinse this off, and there's our sweet little stenciling on that one. Okay. And like I said, you can use a stencil on either side. I think I used this one on the side that was upside down like this, but however you want to use it. And so now we're just going to do some die cutting. I think I'm going to use this one, the second to the largest, on this guy. Yay! Okay. So something like that, roughly, and maybe down this way. Okay. And I'm just completely eyeballing that as far as left and right, up and down. I'll put this other little piece of tape here. Okay. I might rearrange that or readjust it. And then this one I'm going to cut from this guy. And in the next video I'll show you what I mean by making a frame, making a mat. So I just use this. It's going to make a matte layer, right? Because this whole piece will still be there. But if you wanted to match that up with this one and tape it down and run it through at the same time, you're just going to have the green edge cut out, and then this center piece will cut out, but you can use it for something else, or if that's the piece you want to use, however. But today I'm just doing this. Okay, I'll tape that down and run that through too. Okay, I just ran this one through and perfectly cut. And I figured, you know, we should run one through together in case you're new to the marquee. And I always assume people have seen it because I use it pretty much every day if you're familiar with my channel. One other thing I wanted to mention is a long time ago when the marquee had first launched, you can also run a piece of foam. Like, let's say I wanted this to be more embossed. I would just get a piece of foam that's about the same length, put it underneath. You have your paper, you have your die. I would just say cut edge facing down. Put that into your folder and run it through, and it'll give you more of an embossed edge, although this one already has a nice little embossing there. Hopefully you can see that. And that'll just make it pop. So I'm going to use an older folder. Your kit comes with new folders, but I like to use the older ones just to show you that you can continue cutting regardless what happens with the folder here. So I'm going to put that one in there and just roll it through. And a lot of times the reason I don't put this on camera is because I don't want to shake the camera, so I'll do this very slowly. You can crank it through though faster than this. I'm just kind of making it easy so that the camera doesn't shake too much. And there's our beautiful die cut. Okay guys, so I'll bring back our card base. We have this guy. I think I'll use this as a topper where I will pop it up. And then I grabbed some ephemera to finish off my card that I have in my stash. So I'm just going to pop this on here. And this is legit 3.5 by 8.5. This larger die, as you can see, it's like right to the edges of my card. It'll definitely make a really nice shaped card if you wanted it to. And then on this guy, I'm just going to pop some dimensional adhesive on the back, and I'll be right back. Some dimensionals on the back of that. Cute texture. And before I really push that down, just making sure we're pretty straight here. And a little bit further down over here. Looks good. The reason it's sliding is because I put a little bit of wet glue. It's not just the dimensional adhesive, so there you go. And I'm just going to pop on these little ephemera pieces I picked out. And the pinks, this is ephemera that Diamond Press had put out. It's on mydiamondpress.com. I'll link it if it's still available. And I mean, they match really well with the different ink colors, so that's really sweet. So I'm going to pop this one here and that one over there. So hopefully that gives you some idea of how to use some of the dies. I mean, there's just a lot going on in the kit, lots of ways to use your stencils and everything else. So thanks for watching. Thank you so much, Diamond Press, for sending these items for review. I'll have the links in the description box, again, ready to go. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Oh, you know me, I love to make a card where you can't put in the envelope. So let me bring this guy down. Fine. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye now.